All right. I'm having to do these on my phone. This is the only thing getting internet right now for me. But hopefully you can see these. These are the ones from yesterday. I'm going to do them so that you can see the answers and make sure you're doing them correctly. You can check your work. And then I will post your study guide of problems that you can do for today. And that won't be an assignment because we're not doing any more assignments. But that way you can get some practice before your test, and I'll post those answers later too. Let me go ahead and solve these. So, remember this is a fence. The equal sign's a fence. We got this side and this side. So let's see what we can combine on this side. We can combine the 4n and the n. So 4n and 1n. Remember there's a 1 there. 4 and 1 makes 5n. Okay, and then over on this side, you can't combine these two things because one has an n and one doesn't. Okay, and we can't combine these two things because one has an n and one doesn't. So we're ready to move the variable, which we're going to move it over to the left side. Okay, by subtracting it, we got rid of it. And then over here, we didn't do anything to the 3 yet, but we did subtract 5n minus 2n, which leaves me with 3n's. And then over here, we have 15 left. Okay. Then we want to move the number by subtracting it. So we have 3n equals 12. Oops, that's an n. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite that up here. I'm not doing an extra step, just so you can see what I do next. Okay, 3n equals 12. Because we move that, we're left with 3n. Over here we've got 12. Now this isn't 3 plus n, so the opposite's not to subtract. This is 3 times n. When they're written right by each other, remember that's times. So the opposite of times is to divide. Okay, so 3 divided by 3 is 1. That's where we get 1n. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay? And really, once you get to this point, you're doing just a two-step equation. You're moving the 3, you're dividing by 3. Okay? Here, okay, we can't do anything to this left side, can't combine, but over here we can distribute 6 times k, and then don't forget 6 times 3, and then you're still adding 6k to that. So we distributed this. And now we can look and say, well, can't do anything to this side, but we can combine the 6k and 6k. That's 12k. Okay. Now we can't combine anything, so we got to start moving. So let's move the 12k. Okay, so they cancel out. 8 minus 12 is negative 4k. Okay, and I didn't do anything to the 6. And then over here, all you're left with is 18. So let me rewrite that up here so we got room to work. Okay, so I just rewrote that. Now I want to move. So this is where I know as you're doing these, and it's a little foreign to you. You want to just keep your main goals in mind. One of them is to get your variable over here, and now it's to isolate it. So we want to get rid of this negative 4 and this negative 6. Well, it's easy to move the 6 because we can just add it, and that gets rid of it. And over here we have 24. And then this is not plus or minus. They're right by each other, so it's multiplication. So if you divide by the same thing, you will get rid of it. Okay, and you're left with k. Now remember, a positive divided by a negative is negative. So it's negative 6. Okay. Last one, you're going to distribute. Negative 8, negative 32p. I'm multiplying negative 8. Then negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. You still have this 7p. You haven't done anything to it yet. And I also look and say, can I combine anything over here? I cannot, because that has a p and that doesn't. And then I can combine these two things. They both have p's. So negative 32 plus 7 is negative 25. You're still in the negative thing. Now this one's kind of tricky. It looks like, oh, we're going to have, these disappear. But this has the p. So these don't match up. So what we got to do now, right at this point, this is where we start moving the variable over here. So I'm going to add it and then add it. So I haven't done anything to the negative 8. And negative 25p plus 8p is negative 17p. And then over here, you are left with your negative 25. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this so we have room. Okay, I didn't do anything there. I just moved this to here. Now, I want to move my 8. So, going back to the main goals, I've got my variable over here. Now I want to isolate it. So, I want to move this 8 over here. Okay. And negative 25 plus 8 is negative 17. Okay, almost done. Now, I want to get rid of this negative 17. Now, remember, we're not adding these together. See, here we've got a sign in between, that's why we added it. Here, they're right next to each other, so it's multiplication, so the opposite is division. Okay, that's going to become 1. And then over here, a negative divided by a negative is positive. 17 divided by 17 is 1. So my answer is 1. Okay. I will say that, obviously, like I said, these right here, they're going to come out without a fraction, meaning you should be able to divide them evenly. That's not always the case as you go on in math. But for right now, as you're learning these, that's one indication, hey, did I do this right? They should come out even for right now. Not even, but it should come out whole, not as a fraction, okay? So those, and then, like I said, I'm going to post some problems for your study guide and have you work from there. So, thanks, guys.